If you haven't been paying close attention to the Philadelphia 76ers recently, then you've missed them winning 8 of their last 11 games. As they slowly pull away from their process of the last several seasons, fans have finally gotten a glimpse into what this team can be. A trip through my Twitter timeline of the past reveals that I have felt for some time that what Sam Hinkie was doing would eventually reward Philly, and while it's still just a tad bit early, they are well on their way to becoming a very good team. Now let's examine the lineups over the last 11 games to figure out what has been going so well for them. The first thing that jumps out at you is their most played lineup, and the new starting 5 head coach Brett Brown has trotted out virtually from the start of this run. At first glance, pairing Stauskas, Macdonald, and Ilyas Silva around Embiid and Covington doesn't scream this is their best 5, but once we take a dive into the footage, you'll see why that's the case. First off, TJ Macdonald's defense. He's underrated on this side of the ball and is just relentless in his pursuit around screens to harass his man into misses. He's got good core strength and can hold his ground, and a great penetrator like Lillard can't get by him to finish over him on this play. He just doesn't quit on the play, doing everything he can to bounce off of screens and get a hand up. I love how ferocious he is and trying to get a hand on every pass, blowing up this handoff by denying, then making the catch back to his man more difficult. This leads into my next focus, which is the defense of Joel Embiid, who can switch on to guards, contain and contest as well as anyone in the league. Here's another example where he picks up DeRozan on the switch, keeps him in front, then almost blocks this with his long reach, forcing the air ball. Embiid is so mobile and so willing on defense that he literally can erase shots at the rim. It's gotten to the point where if he's near the bucket, teams simply get turned away on most of their attempts, as his per 36 block numbers are out of this world. And look at what he did to Batum on this drive and pull-up. He blotted out the sun and forced him to actually land before getting rid of it. His recovery on attacks to the rim are also unparalleled. Watch how he stunts at the ball handler to make him give it up, then gets back to the roll man to contest this miss. And the real key is when Stauskas gets beat, which is often, Embiid is back there to cover for him. And so many of these possessions trigger a fast break for the Sixers, which in turn create easier shots from distance, a win-win for Sauce Castillo. Just watch him roam the court on this possession, stopping Kemba in his tracks, getting back to Zeller quickly. After a bit of action across the top from the Hornets offense, he's involved in the pick and roll where he again steps up to stop Batum before jumping back into position and then ends up forming a wall to deny Marvin Williams from point-blank range. This again triggers the fast break where he can now gallop down past his own man to the rim for free throws, a place he's been absolutely feasting. Ilyas Silva is another defensive liability that doesn't hurt the Sixers as much in this lineup because Embiid is so good at timing his help to swat shots away, then using his body to angle Melo into an off-balance miss from 2 feet. And yet again, another fast break is triggered where Stauskas can just sprint to the opposite corner, patiently wait for the kick out, and calmly nail the wide open 3. Let's go to NBA Wowie to see how the usage rates are balanced out in this lineup. Of course, Embiid will be the high man on the list, but Ersan Ilyasova is next up at 31.3%, and he's posting a very good 58.5% true shooting percentage while nailing 40% of his threes. The Sixers offense does a good job to spread the floor with this lineup, then involve Ilyasova as a pick and popper. There's no one to rotate. And when they involve him in an off-ball screen with another shooter in Stauskas, it opens up great looks for him to pop out from behind the arc. And so much of their offense is generated by pinch post action with Embiid looking to hand off across the free throw line. If Stauskas doesn't use the pin down, then Ilyasova can pop out for the ball and he finds himself wide open to rise up and splash. Here's the same set, but this time Stauskas uses the screen into handoff, and look how it sucks the defense out of position and allow a nice pass to Embiid for the dunk attempt and more free throws. Brett Brown has installed a nice horns package, and I like this set where Ilyasova curls around the Embiid screen, enabling Macdonald to throw a nifty bounce pass to the rim for the layup. And if that is defended, it gives a chance for Embiid to find some space on the perimeter. Even though he doesn't drive it, this little move towards the hoop sucks DeRozan underneath the handoff, freeing up Covington for a good look at the 3-ball. And this handoff action from Embiid works well for Covington from beyond the arc, as his defenders seem more than willing to go under this and give him the shot. And on this horn set, here's the same pin down for Stauskas into the handoff from Embiid. You can see how this opens up a wide open shot if the pass was on target, but it still flows nicely into a low post touch for Embiid, who just abuses Valanciunas down low with a strong yet graceful turnaround fadeaway jumper from 7 feet away. This pistol action is a real staple of the Sixers offense, and they can get so much out of it, especially as it naturally flows to Embiid down low on the block, where he goes to work on Zeller and gets even more attempts at the free throw line. They don't always mess around with fancy ball movement to get him down low. He can just walk down to that left block and command the ball, where he has all manner of shots, including this Dirk leg fadeaway from 15. And he can also flow to the perimeter and attack by putting the ball on the ground. And this is where you start to feel like it's just not fair. And I do want to point out that Macdonald is responsible for some of Embiid's success as well. He's not a non-threat out there, and a drive like this opens up room for Embiid to spot up in the corner, then check how he can put the ball on the ground, suck the defense in, and hit the cutter with a perfect pass for the layup. Now that's what I call unfair. So there you have it, sports fans. While Embiid is now nursing a sore knee for 2 games, it might go back to looking pretty darn ugly for the Sixers. But don't forget, Ben Simmons is almost ready to come back to the lineup, and when that happens, I'd expect them to go on another run through the schedule. And who knows, that might get them tantalizingly close to actually making the playoffs this year, which would reward long-suffering Philly fans and lend credence to the prediction I made a long time ago.